And I started making YouTube videos in 2013, and I did not have a video editing career, quote unquote, getting a 9 to 5 job as a videoer until 2017. So I'm gonna walk you through whether or not what kind of skills you want as a video editor. Is video editing a good career? Should you consider it? Why is it bad? How much money can you expect? And overall, where do you want to go with your video aspirations? So when it comes to having skill sets, you have to have skills. The more skills you have, the more jobs are easier for you to find, as well as you can get paid more. So the basic tool set of what you need is you need to understand the Creative Cloud. Yes, you can start with just knowing Premiere and you can get away with that for quite some time. But if I were you in this day and age, I would learn Premiere, After Effects, a little bit of Photoshop, Lightroom, and of course, understanding how Adobe Media Encoder works. And if you want to even work in specific niches, which I'll talk about next, is that if you want to work in bigger productions when it comes to movie sets, you want to produce your next Netflix show as an editor, understand things like Maya, right? Avid. These are things where not everybody knows. So if you get hired for a role that requires you to understand Cinema 4D, Maya, rendering, you got things like working with an Avid, you're going to get paid probably a lot more than someone who just knows, let's say, Final Cut or Premiere Pro. When I first got my video editing job, it was technically a videographer role. It was a hybrid between I would need to go film as well as I would need to edit and output the content itself in combination as a social media manager. Does it sound like a startup? Yes, it was. So working in that role, I was playing a lot of different hats. I can play a video editor hat. I can play a videographer role because I know how to film as well. Having more skills to your resume or your CV or your overall portfolio, chances are you're going to get paid more versus someone who was just an editor. So the next is you got to figure out what niche or industry you want to be in as a video editor. Because if your skill set is just to be a broad video editor, there are thousands of aspiring content creators nowadays. Everyone has a phone, and the value of just strictly editing is getting lower and lower. You have marketplaces like Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer that will literally destroy you because there's other people around the world who are willing to work for a fraction of what you're asking for. So if you want to make the most money, you want to specifically niche down in a specific category. Like my other videos, check that out first, is what I wish I learned is you do not say yes to every single project just because it's video related. Someone asked for a video. I'm like, hey, I have a friend that does video. Everyone can do video. So the more specific down you want to go, the more chances are there is a job for that and there is a career path. For example, if you want to get into motion graphic design, if you want to get to like animation, if all you do is, for example, YouTube edits, someone's looking for a specific YouTube vlogger style. If you want to be broad, chances are it's going to be really difficult setting off that career as your video editing aspiration. So if you just want to be just a video editor, you need to understand, do you have the personality for it? Video editing itself is a very introverted job. Most of the time, you are behind the scenes working by yourself at a laptop. You might have one or two client meetings in this day and age, or if you work within a corporate company, you might work in a startup where you work with different people. So do you work better alone? Do you want to work with other people, or do you want to work with a combination of both, or you want to be a freelancer and have that laptop lifestyle? You have to figure out what is your personality type so you can fit in, okay, this is the direction I want to go with video editing. So what equipment do you actually need? With a road link, teleprompter for you, using a Godox LED light. So when I first started, all I had was a really shitty HP laptop, and I paid like $300 for my Nikon D5200. That's all I had to work with me at that time. But as you progress in your video editing career, or you make money, or you have side hustles, start investing into your equipment, having things like the top of the line, laptop that has an i7, i9 core processor so you can edit and output videos a lot faster. Making sure if you want to get into videographer work, making sure you have a camera that does 4K, has a mic input, and has different types of slow motions and all those capabilities so you can produce the highest quality video that you possibly can. But if you have a career in video editing, i.e., having a job, what you need to know is most likely if you work within a job, they should provide you with equipment. I learned this the hard way. You should not be using your own equipment. In comparison to if you were freelancing, you yourself need to provide all the gear, the equipment, you have insurance for the equipment, versus if you work for a company, they should be taking care of all of that. Last but not least is we're talking about money. How much money can you be expected to make as a video editing as a full-time career? Well, let's break it down into a couple of tiers. If we're talking about freelance, you can make anywhere from, let's say, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 a video. If you are looking at marketplace websites, you can probably make a fraction of that. You're looking at $25, $75 for a video, which is not livable. If you want to work within a salary expectations, you can make anywhere depending on your experience. If you have no experience at all, you might as well just take a work for free and take an intern position, right? Video editing jobs, videographer jobs can start anywhere from $30,000, which is nothing. This is assuming that you just want to get into the field, take it. It can increase in terms of your skills and capabilities if you know things like motion graphics, animations. It can go upwards to 45,000, 50,000, 60,000, 90,000, and 120 plus thousand, depending on the actual industries that you are in. So it all depends on the niche, your skills, experience, as well as what is it that you're editing. For me and myself, I have done both. I have freelance for a bit, but understanding that freelance, some days you might not have any clients. Are you comfortable with that? I've also worked with full-time with influencers and organizations where there is that monthly reoccurring paycheck, and you don't always have to worry about, can I get clients? Do I need to put on my sales hat and start pitching to people? Working as a video editor, as a freelancer, you need to have business skills, not just video editing skills, right? Can you get lead generation for your business? Having a freelance mind versus a video editing as a career, as a job, you want to experiment and figure out what is right for you. Which is why in the link description below, I do have 1 hour course where I walk you through exactly what's the best way to approach getting your first client. Making that first client dollar will change your life, and figure out what exactly you want to do. What do you want to work at? Freelancer? How do you even start freelancing? Or do you want to work at corporate 9-to-5 jobs? How do you get interviewed? What's the interview process? I talk about all that and I reveal my pricing structure in that course. Link is in the description below. Help me help you. My name is Peter. You're watching Broke Vision Collective. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about exactly how I got scammed as a video editor when I first started out. And hopefully that story will help you guys out. You're watching BVCO, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something.